From the launch offering alone, there's a lot to do with Battlefield 6. 45 weapons to try out and rank up, which in its own right takes a while. And honestly, same with the leveling system, that takes a while. There's a lot of official matchmaking playlists to experience, a varying number of gameplay types, Portal for even more custom experiences that you can dream up and try out for yourself, and then a campaign for those that enjoy a linear story. But soon, Battlefield 6 is getting even bigger and even more content, with Season 1 just around the corner in a little over 2 weeks' time. But an interesting update alleges that we're going to see it get even bigger, as wild as that may sound. So drop your thoughts, drop a like, and do me a huge favor. If you'd be so kind, make sure you subscribe to stay up to date with all things Battlefield 6 and more FPS content. We're chasing down that 700,000 subscriber mark, and we've got the busiest fall for game coverage in the channel's history. So I'd love to have you in the community. Finally, check out my friends over at Advanced GG for a limited time discount, but more on that later. For now, let's get into it. So, like we said, the launch offering has a decent bit to already explore, try out, and all that right up front. Now, quantity of items, yeah, maybe sure you could want another map or two, which, hilariously speaking of which, I still actually haven't come across and played Saints Quarters yet. I guess that's what I get for playing near exclusively Breakthrough after doing some XP testing, but overall it's been a solid launch with a good bit to do. Progression of leveling and weapon levels absolutely feed into the fact that you're going to have a bit more elongated of a grind, so it's not like COD or other games out there where if you're a grinder, you're going to burn through everything in the first few days, which is nice, but of course, for some players that might be tedious, but it just depends on what side of the coin you fall on. However, like we mentioned, Season 1 is right around the corner. Just over 2 weeks away, it's already been officially teased that while it's not everything that we know will be coming, it's a good indicator of what we can expect to see starting on October 28th. Now, October 28th only being that first day of the season, that initial launch, but there are going to be sort of like milestones, checkpoints where you see larger updates throughout the season that's already planned for the next 2 months. Rogue Ops starts on October 28th, that launch event where you're going to have the new map of Blackwell Fields. This was previously leaked, so you might have seen some footage out there with it, but then you'll also end up getting things like Strike Point, a 4v4, 1 life mode, a new vehicle, 3 weapons of the SOAR 300C carbine rifle, a 300 Blackout rifle, the minifix, which is the Scout Elite returning, and a sidearm of the GGH-22. You'll also get additional attachments of the rail cover and the LPVO. California Resistance, the second part of Season 1, launching on November 18th, will come along with Eastwood. Again, another map that we've seen here that has leaked, but a brand new map to the experience overall. You're going to end up having a mode of Sabotage, which is basically attackers and defenders, both teams having a chance for attacking, where the goal is to detonate more bombs than the enemy team on your respective offensive side. Battle pickups from the past are going to be returning. Those, unlike your additional weapons in loadouts, these are again the high-tech, powerful weapons, limited in ammo and availability, seen throughout given maps. They're not static stuff that you can end up having every single time. You have to go and search them out. You have the DB12 shotgun and the M327 trait sidearm, along with the slim hand stop attachments. And finally, the Winter Offensive launching on December 9th. You'll have a snow-covered version of Empire State, a limited time map update, the Ice Lock limited time event, and the Ice Climbing Axe melee weapon. So honestly, a lot coming just a short period of time after the launch here of Battlefield 6, and at a relatively decent cadence. Like, we have 3-week intervals between major updates for each of these seasonal updates. Now, whether or not we end up seeing Season 2 like right at the beginning of 2026, or there's like a second half of Season 1 that's another 3 weeks of content or something like that, we don't know. We only know the 3 dates given here of this preview. We're likely going to see the full sort of roadmap for Season 1 and a lot more details coming as we get closer to the launch, probably sometime maybe next week or in the next 10 days or so. But for the time being, that's a little bit open-ended. And what leads into that open-ended sort of we don't know is that we could see one key enormous addition to this content offering. About a month ago, FPS news account Modern Warzones tweeted, sources, Battlefield 6's Battle Royale is currently planned to launch on October 28th, 18 days after the launch of the game. This date is subject to change, as always, especially with the BR currently in testing in BF Labs, but I've heard that is the current plan for launch. Now, at that time, that was kind of a bombshell report, and that was all that we had heard up until, well, yesterday, where we got a minor update, but an update no less, where Modern Warzone once again said, update, I'm told the 28th is still planned for the launch of Battlefield 6's Battle Royale, despite it not appearing in the Season 1 roadmap. It may come as a shadow drop with a trailer the day before launch. EA did not want to take away from the premium Battlefield 6 launch hype. Following up with, as always, everything with dates like this in the gaming world is subject to change, but as of right now, I've been told the 28th is still the plan. Really looking forward to another AAA modern military shooter entering the BR space. So fascinating, right? But why have we not heard anything about this officially then in any capacity? Not necessarily just like even not putting it on the roadmap, but in any capacity. We're that close, so surely we'd see something by now, right? Well, there's a lot to discuss on that, but before we do, a quick heads up. We recently partnered with my friends over at Advanced GG. I've been loving their products for a long while now, but it's finally official. To me, Advanced is that replacement for a cup of coffee in the morning, the afternoon pick-me-up, the fuel for any gaming or long content recording session. But right now, to celebrate the launch of our partnership and coincidentally, the launch of Battlefield 6, you can get 30% off your entire order for the next couple of days until the 15th with code ESPRESSO30. If you've never had their stuff, they've got some incredible flavors like strawberry lemonade and rainbow sherbet. Those are two of my favorites, but there's zero chalky residue. They've got some really cool shakers on top of some awesome flavors out there. So I'd highly recommend checking them out if you'd like to fuel up for this launch, and again, any others upcoming, because it is a very busy fall. For a limited time, again, you can get 30% off with code ESPRESSO30 or the link in the description below. Check them out. But anyways, why didn't they start marketing this just yet? Aside from the announcement of it coming to labs testing and the official announcement of labs testing at the reveal, we still have not seen anything official in regards to the Battle Royale in any capacity. And if it's rumored to be launching in just over 2 weeks, that's strange, no, right? Well, Modern Warzone's update to that story, again, kind of spearheads that a little bit, saying that they didn't want to take away from the premium launch hype, which announcing your Season 1 content in preparation of the launch, like before that even happens, really bolsters out the, okay, we've got everything locked and loaded, we've got a solid plan going for launch and beyond. So like, I get dropping that stuff early, it's a bold strategy to exude confidence, but it also makes sense why you wouldn't say like, hey, you know, this paid offering, we got a free one too coming at that same time. So like, I get from a marketing and sort of numbers perspective why you'd want to do that, but it is interesting still that this big sort of fourth key pillar of the game could be coming in just about 2 weeks' time, and we've not heard anything officially about that. Now, a stealth drop campaign is absolutely something that would make sense as well. And you have to remember, EA has already done this and been wildly successful with Apex Legends. It got its kick off a stealth drop. I can't recall the specifics and lead up to it a ton, but I feel like if I remember correctly, even like with leaks, there wasn't anything that pointed towards that coming. It kind of just like literally just dropped out of nowhere. And yet, here we are. Independent of how you feel about the state of the game currently, 6 years later, and it's still one of the biggest games in the industry for the genre. So that stealth drop has worked and could work again. It's not out of the realms of possibilities they try that again. Now, I think that if there is a sort of wait for the confirmation here, unless it is planned to be a stealth marketing campaign, I guess there always is the potential that we don't see it happen. Like Modern Warzone said, like I've come to experience in the gaming industry covering things for 12, 13 years now, dates sometimes are really last second things where that could be the plan 2 weeks out, but perhaps something happens that it gets pushed to the November 18th launch date, or maybe like a Season 2 or something like that, where I don't want to say, hey, it's 100% confirmed at this point. And while I'm readying myself for that initial launch on the 28th here, just know that it is possible things could shift. Now, personally, my overall thoughts on this, I think it'd be really cool to see a shadow drop here at this one. And honestly, I've said it for years now. I think that a battle royale with Battlefield just makes so much sense as a crossover. You have big maps, large player counts, that grand scale action. If you put those on a Venn diagram of what the battle royale genre hopes to do and what Battlefield is, it's a circle, or at least it's a circle in terms of the infrastructure and foundations of what could cross over there. Obviously, a lot of Battlefield fans and longtime players don't necessarily care for Battle Royale, and they don't want that to sort of come into their gameplay experience. But if there's ever a game I think that would have an easy jump to making that work, I think it's Battlefield. And yeah, we saw that happen with Firestorm, but that was a wrong place, wrong time, locked behind a paywall type of thing that didn't have the potential for success right up front as, say, this does. Personally speaking, I'll be playing the Battle Royale, but having played Battle Royales since the Arma days, like the initial mods that PlayerUnknown ended up putting out, I'm a bit burnt out on the formula, personally speaking, that if this can recapture that spark, I'm in for the long haul for sure. But with multiple other games to play and cover around this time that it would launch, we'll see if the gameplay loop can hook me again. Because, I mean, if it launches with Season 1, we'll have Arc Raiders literally 2 days later, which is my personal most anticipated game of the year. Really, really bummed that it could get the Titanfall treatment if the BR launches, and then we have COD shortly after, where I think that that game in particular isn't one that like needs to be a blockbuster hit on launch, and I don't think that it's going to be a genre leader like Tarkov is, but rather I think it's a game that will have that really big sort of cult following where it lives on and thrives over time, as we've sort of seen with the finals. because Embark's continued support on that game really shows in its community. So launch, I think it might be a bummer to see it not get the flowers that I think it deserves, but I think that it'll be fine in the long run. Either way, though, we've got a lot to contend with content. So you're going to see some Battlefield 6 Battle Royale content. You're going to see some Arc Raiders content. You're going to see some lead up to potentially Black Ops 7. Like I said, it's the busiest fall for games in the channel's history, right? So I'd love to have you along for the ride, but anyways, that's where we're at. Drop your thoughts down below. What do you guys think of potentially the Battle Royale still dropping here as of the 28th? Think it's a good move? Not so much. Would you like to see it held off a little bit? Let me know. If you guys enjoyed the video, though, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor, drop a like on it. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. I'd love to have you in the community. Like we said, it is the busiest fall for games coverage here in the channel's history. I'd love to have you in the community for that. But thanks so much for watching. Mine has been Espresso. I'll see you later. Take care and peace.